Maintenance of wife. Every husband is bound to maintain his wife for kharchaye pandan, guzara and mevakori. That guzara is known as the maintenance, kharchaye pandan and mevakori means whatever is required to make her healthy. So every husband is bound to maintain, irrespective of the caste religion, as per section 125 of the CRPC. Mevakhori, kharchaye pandan and guzara. Every man is bound, every husband is bound to maintain. If we will talk about section 125 the CRPC, section 125 CRPC said that this wife includes the divorced wife. The wife includes divorced wife. If we will read section 125 to 128 of CRPC. So wife includes the divorced wife. There is the dispute in Muslim law and section 125 in regard of the divorce. In regard of divorce wife. Some provisions are similar in the Muslim law and the CRPC. Like if she is in adultery, she was remarried, she was in adultery, or she was in remarriage, or she was abandoned her husband without any cause. These are the provisions in section 125 also of CRPC. So the same provisions are also governed by Muslim law. No dispute in this portion. Okay. But where is the dispute? Dispute is to the divorced wife. So as per the Muslim law, someone said that after iddat period, Muslims are not bound to maintain the wife. But when so many high courts were decided in the different views with the different judgments, the case come to Honorable Supreme Court in MSHAHBANO matter. Case came to the Supreme Court in MSHAHBANO matter. That MSHAHBANO matter is known as MSHAHBANO Begum versus Muhammad Ahmad Khan. MSHAHBANO Begum versus Muhammad Ahmad Khan. This is the judgment of 1985 by Honorable Supreme Court and by the major bench of 5 judges. This was the major bench of 5 judges known as constitutional bench also, because there was the question of article 14 and article 21 of the constitution in this matter. MSHAHBANO Begum versus Muhammad Ahmad Khan. Article 14 and article 21.
Equality and
right to life and personal liberty. Actually, the wife having a right to life and personal liberty, if she having a right to life and personal liberty, then who will maintain? With the husband she was married, husband is liable to maintain. And section 125 said that includes, as per section 126, it includes divorce wife. So now they are saying, what was in Muslim law? Muslim law was to access over the wife. We will provide all the facilities. Whenever you will stop this, we will not provide anything to you. Because we was married to nikah for to make the sexual intercourse to born the child.
सही तो है सही था.
See, सही तो है.
क्योंकि कह रहे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है ना ऐसा तो जब तक एक्सेस है तब तक पैसे है, जब तक एक्सेस खत्म हो गया.
So they said that you having the contract, you are the part of contract, and after the breach of contract, there is no obligation. They say they were the supporter of this. And if you was passing the iddat period for me, for my children's, then I will pay. After passing the iddat period, we will not pay anything to you, because there is no contract, there is no sacrament with me and you. There was the contract, and contract was finished, right and duties was finished. This is the philosophy of Muslim law. So, in MSHAHBANO Begum case, Honorable Supreme Court was interpreted Surah number 2 and Ayat number 241. second surah and ayat number 241. In this matter, Honorable Court was interpreted the word of Quran, what is saying, write down if you want, write down in inverted comma. For the divorced women, semicolon, let there be a fair provision. Let there be a fair provision. This is an obligation on those who are mindful of God. This is an obligation on those who are mindful of God. What it is saying? The, of God means who believes in Allah. These are the duties, these are the obligations for those peoples to make the fair provisions. This word fair provision was interpreted by court. They says in case of divorced women, what do you mean by the fair provisions? Fair provisions means you have to maintain herself till her next marriage, or as per section 125. So they are saying that section 125 of the CRPC is not in contravention of the Quran. Is not in contravention of the Quran. If it is not in contravention of the Quran Sharif as per the chapter number 2 and section 241, then why we have to seize article 20, section 125 for Muslims? So this is Quranic. Section 125 is also Quranic. That is why the Muslim personal law cannot affect section 125 of the CRPC. It was held by the Shahbano judgment.
The court ने घुमाया है बात को.
Why?
Fair provision.
So what do you mean by the fair provisions? Fair provisions as per section 125 is this, that the husband has to maintain as she had to be maintained during her marriage. So don't we give her anything. You have to make the fair provisions that she will be maintained in the manner as she had to be maintained during the marriage time. So the same provisions are in section 125. After the amendment, section 125 right now is saying that the maintenance, amount of maintenance must be according to the circumstances and the salaries and the wealthness of husband.
तो पहले 500 था ना मुझे.
That is abolished. But right now the fair provisions is also covered in section 125. So in Shahbano judgment, what was the situation in Shahbano case? Actually Shahbano had a lot of children and she was at her old age. Now husband was divorced her and said, I will not maintain you. How she will be maintained at the age of 79?
29.
Yes. Now how she will maintain? So the case was came. No, not in Muslims. Actually, first wife of Prophet Muhammad was 15 years elder than the Prophet Muhammad. So there is no matter that the husband is the elder or the wife is elder. There is the equality in Muslim law. Don't we say this? For marriage at one time. There is no restriction for the marriage. You can do 100 marriages.
वो तो Prophet Muhammad ने restriction
No. You can make 100 marriages, but simultaneously there may not be more than 4 at one time. So give the divorce to one. Now you have 3 marriages, 3 wives. 4th will come, and this process may be continued
But then,
till the end. Okay. So in this matter, the court was interpreted right now. Court was said these words means
Quran.
chapter number 2 and section number 241 of Quran. These verses give clear cut picture that a divorced woman is entitled for maintenance till the expiry of iddat period, but ऐसे लिखो, उल्टा लिखे, not till the iddat period, but for whole life. It may be cancelled as per section 127 clause 3 of the CRPC, where she is remarried. Clause 3. If she remarried, if she received wholesome amount, means alimony, or if she voluntarily surrendered her right to get the maintenance. Voluntarily surrendered to get the right of maintenance. Now, after passing this judgment in 1885, the Muslim Personal Law Board and the Muslim organizations was pressurized the central government to overrule this ruling. And now, at the time of Rajiv Gandhi government, in 1986, a new law was passed that was known as Muslim Women, write down in bracket, Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986. Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986. Muslim women.
तो डैनियल लतीफी की क्या वो है? है?
But and after 1986, a case filed in the Supreme Court for the review of this ruling with Muslim Women's Protection Act 1986. That ruling is known as Danial Latifi versus Union of India. Danial Latifi versus Union of India. It was a judgment of 2001. Book number 7 of SCC. Book number 7 of SCC and page number 740. Again, Honorable Supreme Court was interpreted chapter number 2, section number 241 of Honorable Quran Sharif. Yes, that is Honorable Quran Sharif. Means Holy Quran Sharif. Honorable Court said in this matter that the word in this verse was used mata, M-A-T-A, to the wife. Honorable Court directs, Honorable Court said that this version directs the divorcing husband to meta, M-A-T-A, to the wife. He has divorced. I am interpreting meta. What is meta? Mata, M-A-T-A, whatever word is. Honorable, actually this version of Quran Sharif interpreted said that divorced husband has to meta for the divorced wife. So what are the mean of this meta, M-A-T-A? Mata is interpreted by Supreme Court in Danial Latifi case. Divorced wives का जो maintenance है, in Quranic version, in Quran the word is used. This is the Arabic word. This is the Arabic word. So the English interpreters translated it meta in the form of, in the words provision, P-R-O-V-I-S-I-O-N. The English meaning or translation of this is provision, P-R-O-V-I-S-I-O-N. But the Muslim Personal Law Board was tried to interpret this word. Muslim Personal Law Board was tried to interpret this word and tried to distinguish between the provision and maintenance. Distinguish between provisions and maintenance. Actually, right now section 125 use the word maintenance, and the means of meta, whatever given in second surah ayat number 241, that is the provision. So Supreme Court was trying to interpret the provision and maintenance. Honorable Court said, write down, Honorable Court said, a distinction without a difference. A distinction without a difference. There may be the distinction in these words, but there is no difference in application. Actually, the word used provision, word interpreted as provision. So they was the person said that the Muslims has to make the provision for maintenance. The provisions for the women, for the divorced wife, but not for the maintenance after the IDDAT. Honorable Court said in this matter that no, they are the different but no doubt, but in application they are same. Meta means provision, and the word in section 125 used maintenance. So court said the words are different but application are same. But now in Danial Latifi section 31A of Muslim Women's Act 1986, said this is the duty of the husband to make and fair provisions for her maintenance during the IDDAT. Fair provisions during the IDDAT. Sorry, not during the IDDAT, within IDDAT. Because they also interpreted the word within the IDDAT period. In section 31A of the Muslim Women Act, the word was used that this is the duty of the Muslim husband to make the fair provisions for maintenance within the IDDAT period. within the iddat period. So what was it? Honorable Court said whatever the word used in the Quran Sharif, the provisions, the same is used in section 31A, and this provision for the fair provision for the maintenance within the iddat period means this is the limitation. So this is the duty of the husband to make the provisions for the maintenance of the wife during the lifetime of her, during her lifetime within the period of iddat. Actually, there was a limitation in section 125. What?
जब तक शादी
This is the duty of the court to decide it within 6 months.
अच्छा हाँ
So here also, actually this is so hard than the section 125. Section 125 gives the time for 6 months. This gives the time for 3 consecutive months within the iddat period.
4 महीने नहीं 3
This is the divorce case.
So means
3 consecutive months.
means maintenance
Within 3 months, this is the duty of the husband to make the provisions for her maintenance for lifetime.
3 महीने का अंदर ऐसा कोई काम करते हुए जीवन में खा सकते
Bilkul, exactly.
सर तो मतलब खर्चा ही 5 लाख बता
The word is not used for the iddat period. The word was used within the iddat period. So Supreme Court interpreted this word within iddat period. And what the means of meta was? The means of meta was the provisions. So the word in section 3(1)(a) was used fair provisions. And within iddat period, not for iddat period. And within the iddat period means this is the duty of the husband to make the fair provisions and reasonable provisions for maintenance for her lifetime within iddat period. Means within 3 months. He has to make the provisions. That is why Honorable Court said there is no conflict between the MSHAHBANO judgment and Danial. No, not that Danial 3(1)(a). Because this act was passed, someone says that this act was passed to overrule the MSHAHBANO judgment. But right now in Danial Honorable Supreme Court said there is no conflict between the MSHAHBANO judgment and section 3(1)(a) of Muslim Women's Act. But this is something extra than section 125 CRPC. Section 125 CRPC gives the provisions to decide within 6 months, and this act provides the provisions to decide within 3 months.
So इसमें भी कुछ ऐसा exception हो सकता है 3 months से ऊपर?
No. It may be passed after 3 months, but the court will decide.
पर इसमें इद्दत पीरियड क्यों बोला भाई विदिन इद्दत पीरियड इससे लगी तब पर 4 महीने का फिर
क्योंकि
Iddat period for wife for death is 4 months and 10 days. But for the divorce this is not. So this act deals divorced wife. See, if the husband will die, then she will inherit the property. Where is the problem? She will inherit the property. If she will inherit the property, she will be maintain herself.
Sir, in case of murder,
But in case of divorce, she was debarred from all the rights from the husband's side. So that is why they said that you have to maintain herself, you have to make the fair provisions for her maintenance within the period.
sir,
Hmm.
in case of mutual